Ooh. Hopefully the music is not too loud. And hopefully the frame rate stays good. Okay. So we'll get started on the room. Hello to anyone that is here. As a disclaimer, Clip is probably like way better for doing this, but I'm just so used to Sai that old habits die hard. So another disclaimer, I guess, would be that this is just a shortcut or a tip that I personally use. Of course, I always recommend looking at actual resources, and, books and stuff by actual, people that know how to teach this. Because I'm doing this and it works, but this is skipping a lot of basics and such. It's just a fast, nice trick. So first thing I'm gonna do, possibly the only thing I'm gonna do, because there is actually a stream I want to watch tonight.
Tell me what to
is
do.
Oh man.
This
song has vocals. Oh, I just picked a random copyright-free playlist, so I have no idea what's in here at all. Testament to how crazy good my audio on my computer is. My speakers are at 6%, and it still feels too loud in my earphones. Oh god. Yeah. So I'm just gonna do a simple 3D background sort of trick. So it's really easy. Hello, MP3. Just trying to think of what I should do for this little room. I guess brown flooring. Something that's nice about this little 3D room trick is if you know what you have for the flooring ahead of time, it makes it really easy for the perspective. So I'm not gonna do planks or anything, but let's say I want to do a rug. As a testament to how much I don't do this, this could totally work on a number of different programs. I'm doing it in Sai, but you could very realistically do this in Clip or Photoshop or anything. So I'm just making a little bird's eye view in a folder. I hope you can see that over there. So I just made the lines. You can actually do this totally with a mouse. I'm just doing it with my tablet because it's a little faster for me. But I mostly use just squares and rectangles and circles for this first part anyway. So I just made a basic room, wood, quote unquote. And now I can put a rug in the middle if I want it. So these colors and stuff are not going to be the best. Just because I'm doing this really quick. I might even change this. Yeah, that's fine. So, say I want a red rug in the middle, and I don't know, it's got embroidery or something. It's not gonna be too good. I just want to show the basics, but ooh, it's got stuff on it. But there's a rug. If I want to, I can shrink it, which I probably should. But the fun part of this trick is it's really easy to cheese perspective with it, which again, You should study actual perspective. This is just a trick I'd use for easier practice, and I'm a very impatient artist, so this just makes it a lot faster. So say if I want to have, let's go with a table. That's pretty easy. You want to think of it in like a 3D sense. So I want to make the top of the table first. And again, this is going to be really rough. Normally I'd take a little bit more time to make it look a little nicer, but so that's like the top of the table. So I'll put top. And then I would want the under part of the top, because it's not just like a one-dimensional top of a table, right? It's got the very top of it and then the bottom of the top, if that makes any sense. And then even further, you can actually make like, you know, another part, the smaller part underneath, like the staple part in the middle. I don't know what exactly it would be called, but just trust me, it'll make a lot more sense when we get to the actual 3D part. And then I would want to have the legs of the table underneath. So I'll just copy one leg, two leg, and then do this. Merge the layers. I do this a lot if I want to do similar shapes. Merging two layers and then copying those. So now we got like a little table in the corner there. So we got the legs, bottom of the legs of the table, right there, the sort of like supporting part of the table, and then you can't see it as easily because they're the same shape, but the top and the bottom of the top of the table. So I hope that makes sense. I do want to put a little bit more in here to demonstrate more furniture in this little room, but we will get to the 3D part in a second. So now let's do like a chair. And honestly, actually, you could just, since we're just doing it like a demonstration sort of thing, you could just take the table, because it has a lot of the same stuff as a chair, and like shrink it to make it the chair. And then all you'd have to do is add the top of the chair, and possibly any like handles on the chair if you wanted, or something like that. So back chair, and then I'll put that right there. You guys can still hear me and the music and stuff? I hope you don't hear the fan. I did check, and it didn't seem like the fan was catching up, but it's hot here right now, so. Music is a bit too loud. Okay, I will turn that down. Like I said earlier, my speakers are really good. So, again, I have it at 6%. 6%! And it's still, like, too loud. It is... I've had it at 2% before and been like, I need to turn it down still. Yeah. Just trying to think of what else would be good to demonstrate for this 3D. What else should I add in here? Maybe... Oh yeah, lurking is definitely fine. I just wanted to make sure it was still running. Because, like, to me it's obviously working, but I'm not watching the stream, so... I'm gonna try a lamp. Because that's another pretty easy one to do. But because it is gonna be on top of the table, I actually want to add it in here. Because it's basically, like, the same object. Any clip users are going to be like yelling at me for the fact that I'm using Sty, because Clip has these nice actual like rectangle tools and circle tools, but here I am just using Sty. Old habits, man, old habits. Thankfully it's easy enough to make circles, so I'm going to call this the don't know if I want it to be the base of the lamp or if I want it to be like the bottom of the ring of the lamp. I'll make it the bottom. Shade. Ah, yeah, vector layers. I like barely use them. So the entirety of this lamp is going to be circles, so I'm literally just going to keep copying the same circle again and again. Because the point of this bird's eye view is going to be to provide almost a skeleton for the 3D layer to make it easier. So it really does not have to be detailed at all, or you don't have to worry about like, oh gosh, it's all pixelated and stuff. It's totally fine. And then I'll make this base. And like that. What other kind of furniture should we add in here? Or do you guys want to see how the 3D part of it works? Let's see. I'll probably go for a couch. Couch. Let's see. Okay, I'll do the 3D now, because I think we got a decent amount of furniture. And it's all very much basics, so like a couch would be a bunch more squares, and like you can even set up curtains or something, doors. Oh, actually, that's a good thing. I will set up a door, like over here, I guess. So I'll usually just erase, a portion right there. And I noticed now that I didn't make the walls really like thick, but that is something you can do too if you want there to be thicker halls. Like if the 3D you want to see the hallway be like that thick, you can do that. So you want to make sure that everything is in one folder, at least for Sai and like for Clip and stuff. And then what you want to do. And I'm gonna save this actually before I get too far into this. So, bird's eye view. You want to use free to form. And then you're going to pick whatever angle you want. Like you could angle it this way, you can angle it that way. But you can actually see right now that this rug and all of these are bending and doing the perspective on like its own. That's because it's all inside that folder. And again, this is a way to cheese it and do it like quickly and like get some practice in. So again, like you should look into actual perspective and such if you want to do more official things. But I feel like this is like a nice little shortcut if you just want to do just something really, really simple. So now all of this stuff, like the rug, the table, the chair, all of it is skewed now because we skewed that big folder. So what you're gonna do now, I'll start with the chair. So the legs right here, this little reference is gonna stay on the floor. So right now I'm gonna pull that out of this folder and then I'm gonna move it up. So in Sai, and I believe in Clip as well, you can hold Control and then use your arrows, and then you'll lift it up. So lift it up however high you would want, your chair legs to be. And now you want to take out the next part. So this is where the, I guess the support of the chair is going to stay. So because it's going to stay at this level, I'm taking it out of the folder again. And then I'll move that next part of the chair up a bit. Take it out. Move the next parts again so that I get the thickness of the chair I want. And then you could just do the back of the chair now. Lift it up. And now it has provided a little framework for you to work off of. And I just like putting all the layers of the chair back in. So, just to make it a bit easier to focus on the chair, I'm gonna take everything out like this. And these are like the guidelines for the chair. So now I can just roughly hatch out, the shape of the chair. And because it's skewed with the room, it's in a decent perspective with the rest of everything. Obviously you'll want to do like straighter lines if you want it to be perfect and such, but this is a really fast, easy little shortcut to kind of cheese perspective. Again, really, this is not like proper teaching thing. You should look for like actual, guidebooks from people that know. But if you just want to like practice things, so like setting up a room maybe, and don't want to get into the nitty-gritty right away, this can be a little tool to like get you started. Especially nice if you just want sort of like a reference or something that doesn't have to be perfect. Like you want a semi-specific area for like a comic panel or something, and it's going to be, they're going to be there in the comic for like a long time or something, but you're going to have a lot of different angles, so you don't want it to be like a perfect ref. And then you can just do the exact same thing with the table. So then probably want it to be above the chair. What did I mess up with? How did I miss that? I think I pulled one out too soon. No, that should be there. Oh, it's because I was moving both at the same time. Okay. And now we can do the lamp. So you don't want the base to move. Lamp off the table. And then you can just move the top of the lamp. And some of it will be like a little bit of wonky perspective, but again, it's for easy practice, really. So now I got guidelines for a lamp. I probably didn't make the base very, very low. And then now I'll do a little rough of the table. Yeah, I think you guys get the rough gist of it. Honestly, the funnest part is like thinking of the bird's eye view. I cannot get this line right. Thinking of the bird's eye view and just being able to fill it up. Especially because I find it so much easier to... Oh, this is going bad. To fill up a room when it's just the bird's eye rather than trying to think of it completely in the 3D first. But when it's the bird's eye, it's just like, oh, it's just a bunch of, you know, squares and circles, and then you add the details later. And like, obviously, if you want a table to have like circular shaped legs or something, you could do that too. Or if you don't want it to look anything like the skeleton, you can just have that there as just a basic weapon. Yeah. So now we got a little table and a little chair and little lamps somewhere. There it is. Okay. Lamp. Ta-da. So another thing that's pretty interesting with this is that it's pretty easy to make walls, because all you really have to do is find a corner of your floor map, and then I don't know, a blue wall, no. And then set it up there. Oh. Okay. And then you can choose the other wall by copying this wall, free to form, and then you take this middle one and you go like this, and you want to line up that corner as well as you can with the corner of your floor map. Ta-da! And then just like magic, you got a corner of your thing. And then, if you want to make a nice door shape, just make another layer. This is just going to be kind of like a throwaway layer. And you want to make like a door shape. You're just going to fill it. And you're going to do something similar with what you did with the wall. So free to form, this middle one, and then you want to line up the bottom with the corner of where your door hole is supposed to be. Sometimes it won't be perfect, but again, this is just for like rough practice or making refs and stuff. And you're gonna let it be like that, and while it's selected, that area, you're gonna go to the layer that has that wall on it, and then you're gonna clear it. Now you got the door hole there, which I actually think I missed. Yeah, I missed a little part here. And then you can add, if you make a layer underneath this wall, you can make it like a little darker. Just add, make a square. And then you can fill it in. We got a little 3D door hole over there. Ta-da! Oh my gosh! Hello, Chikuto! I like just finished the basics of this little room trick. It's very much for like quickly setting up like a location. Especially if you don't want to, you know, spend hours and hours making a like really good ref. Oh god. Oh, if you just got here. Should I make another little room? Or, oh god, another vocal song? Woo. I don't like the vocal songs. Stop. Hello, Chaos. breaking down the door, I'd assume that's true. I mean, technically there isn't actually a door here. But you can still use that door like hole trick to make a door in there. You just have to do it underneath. In the same way we did this wall, you would just do a layer underneath, and instead of making it, you know, like a hallway. This is very rough. But you just make whatever door, because it won't go over the wall over here. And obviously you should probably do it with another rectangle, but just showing it off quickly. It could be like... put like a sign on it. But chaos, we've been using rectangles this whole time. And it could be like Sono's room, which is funny to have as a sign there because, well, not only is this a very sad room, it's on the inside of the room. Unless this goes to my room. We're gonna go with that. But basically what I went over is, you start with I'll do like a mini version, I guess. You start with a bird's eye view map. And this is really, really fast version for anybody that's just getting here. And then you set up different layers and such. I don't know, it's a fun little summary of it. You have stuff like chairs and stuff, but you want to set up all the different layers. So then you can change it. But the big thing is you want to make sure it's all in one folder, and then you free to form it. And it'll like cheese the perspective for you. Again, this is like, I recommend this for, you know, if you really want to practice environment, and more so you want to practice like setting it up and thinking of things to put in it, or have a really quick reference that you'll do, you know, better details for later, like if you're doing a comic page and they're going to be in a location for a really long time, and you want like an actual background to reference off of, this is what that's good for. But because it is like cheesing the perspectives and such, obviously, I recommend, as many of you heard before in this stream, is look up actual perspective, you know, rules and such to actually learn that. But this is the basics of like the chair thing, because if you have it before you skew it, and like the different layers of the tables and such, which I'll show with this old version. So we had the table set up here as all these different layers of the table, and then you could just move it up and down depending on where you wanted it to be. Oh god. And like obviously you can add more details than just the skeleton. Like I could have added a, you know, like a tablecloth or something if I wanted it on there, or, you know, fork and spoon, you know, blah blah blah, you know, little things like that. But yeah, for a really quick little easy way to make an environment, I just find it really fun. And as I mentioned earlier in the stream, I'm a very impatient artist, so things that are faster is very much in my playing field. But yeah, one of the coolest things I think, which I didn't show off here, but when you make the flooring in the bird's eye view, it's really cool to see it get skewed. Like, I did a game project and I had like wooden floors that actually had, you know, like the boards all set up. Like obviously I hadn't drawn them ahead of time, but I had them all nice and done, and like each panel was, you know, different colors slightly. It just looked really nice, and then you skewed it, and it still looked good, and it was just really nice to see that. So I know that they also did my music stop? Excuse you. Why did you go out of the playlist? No.
Hi.
Guys, it wants me to listen to the one with the words. I don't want it. This one, I guess. There. Oh my gosh. You're welcome. I have a usual playlist of stuff that I like and I'm used to, but I was like, is this gonna get copyrighted? So I just went for a copyright-free playlist. Which relatedly, if you really like any of the songs, I don't know what any of them are. So I'd have to very much check and see what they are. But yeah, so that's like the 3D room trick that I have. I definitely would recommend playing around with it. It is really fun to make a full environment this way, because, you know, like we just did this in about half an hour or so, and like for half an hour I guess it's like it's a decent amount of stuff, but it's faster I think than the grueling work of actually knowing what you're doing would be, at least for me. But yeah, actually filling out a room with like a bookshelf, thinking about like if it's a character's room, what they would have in there. It's really, really fun, and it's a nice, faster way to do it. It'll still take time if you're fully doing it, but it'll save you a lot of the downtime and stuff. I do know that people were also asking about expressions. Where should we start with that? Because as hilariously as it is that I do them all the time, I don't know where we would start with this, really. Mostly because I usually have, like, comic ideas in mind, but I don't right now, so... Since Chikutaro's here, I will draw a quick little cog, I think. Doing a little pout, because I can. I guess to start with expressions. I always just have, for a sketch, unless I really want a specific expression in a comic, I usually just have circles. Draw a comic about you making these comic storage. Well, I don't even know how I do it. Usually I just have these circles and like general stick people on like what I want them to be doing, and then I'll only have an expression in the sketch, I guess, when I really want it to, I want to remember that it's that, because usually I'm doing like a full comic, right? So if I don't put it there, I might forget. Right now I'm just doing this doodle of cog though, so there's nobody else, so that's why I started immediately with the face. And I always start with the face because that's like there's body language as well, but the face is like, I want to make sure I get that right first. So, you know, like say if I'm like, I want it to be a different one, because the thing is, I exaggerate the expression so much that the face could be like, oh my god, and like that's clearly, like if I had drawn, you know, a normal cog, I can't even do it, I'm so used to, like, it might not have lined up, is what I'm saying. It's a lot of practice, Chaos. But like, say if I had drawn the, you know, main structure of Cog's face before I did the face, it's pretty unlikely that it would line up with this face. So that's why I usually do the face first, and then I kind of like mold the face around it. because I very much envy people that can keep things on model every single time. That is like so beyond me, I think, because I love to stretch and squish and change things so much that like doing it like on model completely every single time, I'm like, oh Jesus. Like, God, how do you do that? You know, like you could even have like his hat. I guess that's like a secondary thing that I always think of is after the face, think about like body language. How is their clothing going to react to this, if any? I ran out of room a bit at the top, but like maybe his hat's coming up a bit because he's like, oh my God, I'm so shocked. And you know, like the hair is like, oh God, oh. You know, it's just like adding on and on and on, or taking away if you want it to be, you know, more subtle or something. One thing I always like to do too is how is going to be best to do this. Actually, I think I could do it with this face right here. I really like copy and pasting because I really like in comics having a very, very minor difference in between beats sometimes. So like, say if I wanted Cog to like have this exact same face, but you know, there's minor differences. Like maybe, you know, Christian, you know, just said something like in the middle here, and it made Cog even more like, really, bro? You really saying that? So he could like lower his brow or heighten it maybe. Yeah, like raise it even more. Maybe add like squint lines. Like raise that one, bring this one down. And then like, you know. Cog is the main character of Chikudo's webcomic, Clockwork. It's very good if you haven't checked it out. I'm just saying, plug. But yeah, so I'm a big fan of copy paste for these kinds of things, where, and I don't feel like bad about it because like I drew the first one, and also like I'm drawing a lot of panels. Like I'm already drawing a lot, and I think there is a nice effect to having very, very minor differences between stuff. Because there's I don't know how to like exactly describe it, but there's something so specific about like, nah, they didn't move at all. They literally just squinted his eye and frowned a bit more. Like I don't know how to specifically describe it, but I feel like it gives a decent amount of punch depending on the scenario. So I really like mixing up expressions like that too. I also just think it goes to show that really small things can really change an expression. Like I did not change very much between these two, but like they're not totally different, but they are different, you know? And like pushing and pulling it. Yeah, it's like, I always go for, when I'm doing expressions, I always go for how it feels. And, you know, like the feel of it. You know, like I can't quite describe exactly what's going on, but I know in my heart of hearts that that's what I want in like the panel. Right? It's also just really fun to like, especially if you have a comic strip where like everybody's on model for like the whole thing, and then you suddenly like, you know, something happens and suddenly they look like this. Like the detail just drains completely out of them. There's a feeling to that. You know, like your brain is just like stopping and you can't process anything, so all the details go away. I actually, this is like a weird side tangent. But one instance I saw of really, really good expression work, or rather lack of expression work, I'd say, is in a show called Kaguya-sama Love is War. Very hilarious, definitely recommend it. But one of their recent episodes, the production on this show has always been like awesome, like crazy awesome for, you know, what it is, and it's just so fun to watch. But they really pulled out all the stops for this one episode, and one character's having like a tough time and just doesn't really fit into the mold with other people and just doesn't really see them as like equals, I guess you'd say. And so they do that anime thing where nobody has any faces. And at first it's like, oh yeah, it's the anime thing where nobody has any faces, you know, saving the budget for other things. But then, at a point in the episode, these people like reach out to this character and make him feel better. And he kind of has like this eye-opening moment of like, wow, these people are people, and they gain faces. They're not like the faceless anime people anymore, they get their faces back. And it was such a really cool visual way of showing like, yes, he sees them as people now. So, you know, like even just taking something like that away can really visually impact your story. Like it got me in the gut. It was awesome. Yeah, no, it was that episode, not gonna lie, made me cry. It was amazing. Yeah, I don't want to spoil too much of it, but it's a really good show. But yeah, as far as expressions go, I kind of go from like super simple to like super detailed. Like if any of you know my Xenoblade Chronicles, you'll know that there's a moment, the poopy butt. Oh yes, Jin, you can make a request. In the meantime, there's a poopy butt thing, a joke, and his face is like this, but then I tried my best. Yes, I'll change the song. Yeah, so the face of Shulk that I'm talking about on this one panel is like super simple, and I tried my best to make like, it's not gonna be the same here, but I tried my best to make it like really detailed on like his hair and everything else. So there was just this contrast between like, oh my god, you're so beautiful, but your face is like not there. But yeah, having like sudden detail when you're not used to it, which actually that show also did at one point. I won't say that one, but they had a portion where everybody was suddenly like super detailed for the joke, and it was amazing. I think another good thing I can recommend if you wanna get good, sorry. If you want to get better with expressions, is to just find different series that really go ham with them and like learn from those. That's often what I've done. Like I've taken a lot of cues from just stuff I've read and stuff I've watched, which just happens to be, you know, the balls to the walls, funny, you know, shows that just never take themselves too seriously, stuff like that, usually. In particular, I think the Wind Waker log book think it's called. It's like a bunch of 4 comas. And it does stay like within the Wind Waker style. Like it stays on model the entire time, but those models are so amazing and hilarious. I love these 4 comas. They are so funny. That was one of my big ones. This was a weird one to like recommend. I mostly recommend For the Faces this one because I didn't even spell it right. It's called Nisekoi, and it is a garbage harem series. Like it's better than most I've seen, but still not the best. I'm changing the song again. I don't like this. Oh, it's not Nisekoi the Motogari, I think? It's just this. It's just called like Fake Love or something. You'll know you have the right one if you see a blonde girl with this is horrible drawing, but blonde girl with the red bow. She's pretty much like the mascot of that series. It's a regular harem series. Oblivious Guy, honestly not that great. The beginning is good and then it falls off, but it has like this. I will give it completely. It has like the best faces you'll see. It is amazing in terms of the emotions that they have. So, like even if you're not into it. Like, if you start to read it and you're like, not really digging this, I do at least recommend, like, flipping through the pages and seeing the different emotions that they have. Adept, how could you say that when you talk about the world God only knows all the time? Speaking of which, the world God only knows Akami no Mi. It does have some pretty good ones too. What I like in this one, I like a lot of things in this one, but as far as expressions go, I like that they actually pull from like Western series sometimes. Like sometimes they'll actually have like a Peanuts reference, or one time they actually had like a South Park one, which is really weird, but it fit for what it was doing. Oh shoot! I think there's actually a panel I have saved from. Oh wait, reaction folder. Where is it? It should be in here somewhere. Oh, this is from the same guy, but okay, brother. You know, like, there's another one there. Ah, shoot. What did I save it as? Oh, this one's good. There it is. This one. This comes after a page flip, and the first like handful of times that I read the chapter with this in it, it scares me every single time, and I love it because the girl actually has that reaction. She actually goes away like, oh my god. That's exactly what it was supposed to do. There's also this one, which I love. Like, what is happening here? Oh my gosh, I would love to do like a World God Only Knows watch party or like a reading party once, if anybody would be down for that. I would absolutely be down for that. yeah, so what PNG? Oh shoot, I don't have it saved, but there's another great one where the guy gets like a voodoo doll or something, and he's not expecting it, and his reaction panel is like the greatest thing. Anyway, I'm gonna bit off topic, but try to find like anything that has another one that's good. I would say is Nichijou, so like My Daily Life, that one, the one with the crazy budget from KyoAni. That's another really good one with really funny expressions in there. Yeah, I would not doubt it, Jin. I would not doubt it. But yeah, taking reference from these different series that you can find, like not only does it help influence your art style, but like the expressions you got in there too. But honestly, as hilarious as it is, because I love these three things, and I'm kind of on this one, I still absolutely would say this has the best like range of crazy expressions in there. It is like, that's part of the reason I kept reading it, even when I was getting a bit frustrated with the pacing. Which fortunately it is done, so you don't have to worry about as much of that if it did start to intrigue you, because you don't have to keep waiting week after week. It's just completely finished. There's also Marika in this show, which is she's such an interesting character, because she has a lot of tropes that I would usually not be too fond of, but I love her. I love her character. She is just fascinating to me. Anyway. Honestly, same. Lufico. I feel like I would enjoy it a lot more now that it is finished, because my biggest problem was the fact that it felt like things were dragging on, and I was reading it as it was coming out. So, what tropes does she have? She like embodies the how do I word this? Made to be a love interest trope, I guess. Like, there's kind of technically not much to her for a while, except the thing is, she owns that. Like, you know, her only goal, well, not her only goal, her main goal, which ties into her other goals, is to marry the main guy. But she owns it to such a degree. Like, she's like, this is my dream. I'm gonna work for this. I'm doing this. And it kind of does tie into, like, some of her other themes later, which makes it even stronger. But the fact that she owns it so much and just is so entertaining in it, and, like, she's not giving up. She's very straightforward. You know, like, she's not beating around the bush, which the main guy is really oblivious. So the fact that she's not beating around the bush is actually really nice to see, because basically everyone else is. So her just being like, hey, I love you. I want to marry you. You know, like, I hope someday you love me back. Like, just straight up. While everybody else is like, oh, I had these chocolates for you, but they're just not, I just happened to make them. You know, like that stuff. And, like, it's cute enough for everybody else, but I don't know, it's just really refreshing to see this hilarious directness coming from her. And again, it ties into, like, her character more later. Tsumugi is, I think, the girl you're talking about. We're, like, barely talking about expressions right now. What else do I do with expressions? It falls very much on... I'll see if I have any, like, comics in here. I'll see if I have any comics in here. I say, as I have way too many comics in here. I think all of these are posted, so they should be fine. Nichi Joe stream, or Nisekoi stream. Honestly, yeah, man, like, I almost started talking more about it, but that would be, like, later or something. I guess I'll open this. So yeah, most of the time, obviously expressions go with what they're saying, and I try my best to keep the panel to one expression per panel, because otherwise it's, like, if this one said, like, ugh, but then this one was like, but on the bright side, something good is going to happen. It would not, you know, like, if this line is like this, it fits with that face. But if I had, you know, a happy line over here, it'd still be, like, okay-ish, I guess, maybe, but, like, you wouldn't read the right emotion for it. So you want to make sure that the face fits what's being said. you know, all around. Or you can just like not have not have a face. Eyes are the window into the soul, so if I ever need to get rid of something for like a blank face, it's usually the eyes first. If I'm going for more of a cutesy face, I get the nose out, mostly because, and like noses are adorable, do not get me wrong, but it's mostly because I personally find mouth being close to eyes cute, which is hard to fit the nose in there a bit more when that happens. Also, I'm just lazy. But yeah, it very much has to do, and part of why it's so hard to like talk about the expressions without comic to do is, oh my gosh, I know Lufico. Josh is streaming right now, and then I think Jello is too with Skies of Arcadia, and I'm really interested in that game. So yeah, have a good evening, Chaos. Honestly, I probably won't go for very much longer because, as I was just talking about with Lufico, there's quite a few people I want to watch streaming tonight as well. But I can always talk more about expressions in the future and such too. I do want to have it be more of a weekly thing, and you guys haven't mentioned like the frame rate or anything being bad, so I think that means it's being pretty good. Which in that case, you know, I do want to make it at least once a week to stream like this. Hopefully set up like a day. I didn't do it yesterday because there was like the Twitch blackout, but I think Wednesdays is pretty good. But yeah, we could always like decide topics and stuff ahead of time. Have some fun. Do like an hour at least. Patrons maybe request doodles if they wanted to, stuff like that. Yeah. What should I doodle for the last few minutes of this? You guys think? My dad! Oh god. Oh. I'm gonna do... I love my dad to bits, but he has most of the traits which I'm very like bad at drawing, specifically facial hair. So I have to like prepare to draw my dad. Ooh, it's gonna be bad. This is a thank you. Thank you for coming. Oh, that's a strong statement, Jin. Especially considering everyone but one is a girl in that cast. Yeah. Ooh. Thank you. Yeah. I think this went well. I'm glad that the music was at least, I almost said legible. Audible? There we go, audible. I'd rather have my usual playlist going on, but again, I don't want copyright things to happen. Maybe I can just make I'll go through this copyright list and actually pick decent ones and make my own list. Maybe. Call it my stream list. Yeah, I heard a lot of people like talking about it, so I just didn't want to chance it. Which, like, hopefully this isn't gonna do anything. And like, I don't know if I want to get to like partner subscriber money levels. But if I ever did, wouldn't want. Yeah, better safe than sorry. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming. I will definitely look into doing this in the future. I did check to have this saved as a highlight on Twitch, and I did record it too, so I think I'm gonna like upload it to YouTube maybe. which I don't upload many videos, so hopefully it doesn't take like forever. But yeah, so if you missed anything, you can check back, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope maybe I can do more with this, because it's just fun to interact with people and have like that community feel while drawing. That's something I think I've missed for a little while now. But yeah, so have a good night. I'm gonna be watching other people streaming, probably still drawing. And yeah, bye bye!